What's up, everybody in Facebook world? How's it going out there, guys? This is James Wong from Maxa. Welcome to the Real Estate Marketing Show. For those of you that don't know, I have a podcast, Real Estate Marketing Show, and James is such a badass, and his company is so awesome, and he's helped change so many lives. Instead of just recording the podcast, I said, well, let's just go live too. Why the hell not, right? So we're recording for the podcast. Make sure you guys subscribe to that, realestatemarketingshow.com. And then James is a friend of mine. We've become very close over the last, year or so. James is one of those guys that's not only a really cool entrepreneurial spirit, but a really big-hearted guy, but a smart guy. And what he's done is he's designed some software for realtors and some other different industries like lenders and isogenics and some really cool stuff. He's just getting rich off of his beautiful mind. He just had a baby, 19 days ago?
Yeah.
Congratulations. And Haley, his beautiful mom, is just doing well. I see we're sitting on the couch earlier doing some family time, which was so awesome. But James, the reason you and your company are so important to me, now I've built lots of companies, right? And I had to rebrand several times. And I found out in the early 90s that branding was everything, right? So today, and I'm just kind of trying to set the stage on how the conversation should go. Today, in today's market, we have digital marketing, which is everything that we could put out on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, doesn't matter. Just digital marketing, social media, email campaigns, drip campaigns, text campaigns. There's so many ways of branding, but yet I still want to remind everybody that the actual print advertising is still a major part. So what I love about your software and what I love about your attitude, what I want to do today is teach agents how to have the mindset for branding, right? Now we could talk about your software all day long, but really we need to talk about the theory behind it and what needs to motivate the real estate agent to actually take action, buy Maxa. And obviously if you're on my EXP team, I pay for your Maxa software. So if you don't know that, surprise, but the Maxa, the branding and just what we're trying to do. What are we trying to accomplish behind branding, right? Because if you log into Maxa, and we'll try to do a demo. I know most of you, there is a demo that I have on YouTube, by the way, but most of you are going to be listening to this in the car, on the treadmill. I get that. But I want you to be able to see this, and I'm going to have you show some stuff. So you'll hear me say, James, share your screen and show this stuff, but come back to the video because it's really important. So here's and I do all this on the fly. I don't really take notes and all this stuff. I let these conversations flow. So James, I want to talk about how easy it is, the training, the theory behind it, why it's important for agents to brand, and what kind of branding. And I guess what kind I want to talk about the quality. So tell me about yourself for a minute, and then tell me how we decided to get into the business of Maxa.
Sure. I've been in branding for the last 6 years. So had a chance to work on some amazing companies. And learned a lot. And pretty much everything I've learned was from someone smart like you, Mike, who was like, dude, I do this. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's super smart. Everyone else should do that. But you guys remember the whole statistic, right? 92% of homeowners list with the first or second agent they think of. 82% of buyers work with the first or second agent they work of. Well, yeah. The thing is, they have presence. And how do you create presence that's leveraged and built for an age of technology, media, social media, entertainment? You do it through branding. You know, you every time, Mike, you've done a great job building your personal brand. People know you. People know your spirit, your character, your personality. They can trust you. So when it comes and as a realtor or whatever profession you have, the goal is to build that brand and to continue to position yourself in a way that is really remarkable. So I always used to say there's 3 aspects of your brand that really matter a lot. First, you have your functional brand. You have your functional attribute of the brand. So functionally, what do you do that's different than what everyone else is doing? So let's talk about cars for a second. The same Toyota and a Porsche will get me from here to San Francisco or here to Mike's house in the same amount of time. Well, why do I want a Porsche more than a Toyota? And Yeah, functionally, there's something that Porsche does: the driving experience, the luxury of the car, and inside of the cabin, how you feel when you wear or you rock the brand. They're catering to that business because people don't have time to and they don't want to fail. And so when you create a brand, you actually project yourself as a success in very specific things that is your strength. And when you are able to project your strengths, people know they can count on you for those things. And it resonates with your story, resonates with them. I may not want to work with someone who's very, detail oriented. I might want to work with someone who's going to break doors down for me. It just kind of depends on where you're going. I'm going on a riff right now because I think about branding in a projecting and positioning kind of realm, where I'm interested in having people as soon as they find out about us, or they know that we are the best choice for them. But the question is, how do you do that? So functionally, if you're a realtor and you list homes, what's your angle? Functional, are you a marketer? So in LA, getting listings is very, very competitive. So there's people who take the mom and pop approach. We're family first. Functionally, we have your back. Dad does this, mom does that, and it helps the team. Or there's the high-end marketer approach where it's like, I know marketing, I have a lot of experience in that area, I'm going to list your home for over asking. Or it could be another approach, which, I'm trying to think of what I've seen on the market, that people are always looking for something functionally. Second, they're going for the social side. So the goal is your social attribute, which is what are people saying about your brand, and socially, where do you stand? What's the status of your brand? Are you a nobody, or on a quote unquote popularity contest? Are you up there where people are like, wow, it would be great to work with this brand one day? I did especially if you have the experience and the background, you want to take those wins from all the years of being in the business and turn it into something very attractive, so that they're like, wow, I would love to really work with them. If I had a chance, I'd show you guys some videos we've shot of agents and teams who really show their strengths and their functional attributes, socially what people are saying, and then emotionally how they make you feel, which is that third attribute. Considering, how does your brand how's it leave other people? Is it an emotion? Is it a drive? So Porsche leaves an emotion that's different than Volkswagen. And the goal is, how are you going to leave that emotion? And you can do that all through good branding. So that's kind of my take, first of all, is saying, hey, look, we want to be the first person clients think of when working, when they have to work with an agent. But how do you do that? You do it through three ways: functionally, emotionally, and socially, building a brand. And then how do you leverage it? You leverage it through your media. So podcast, video, photography, your graphics, creating that entire style and all that stuff.
Let me tell a quick story to the agents listening, because when I was new in the business, most people don't know, I was only 19 years old. When I was 19 years old, very similar today, I'm 47, I look like I'm 27. But when I was 19, I looked like I was 12, right? So I always throw that in there. But I was very young, and I was nervous, because I'd go knock on doors and people would say, oh, how cute, I already donated to your school, da da da. So I had to build this brand. Now, remember, in the early 90s, there wasn't the internet. There wasn't affordable printers that a family could own. There wasn't anything that we have today. We were excited because a fax machine just came out. You know what I mean? So it was a really different world. And my motto has always been, do things that other agents can't or won't, right? So I would spend extra time, effort, and money buying printed products back there, because all we had was mail and print. So I'd spend a junk ton of money on notepads and things that were printed. And I learned really quick. And I started out at Remax, which I still to this day say, man, best branders ever, because it was all about a balloon, right? And it was all a certain font. And most companies back then had all different things, but Remax was really like serious about their brand. Like the signs had to be all exact. We wanted red, white, and blue with a balloon and an agent's name in the middle. Now that sucked for the agent's branding because all we did was brand Remax. But if we think about it, it's probably the most well-known company on the planet right now, right? Because of the way they incorporated the branding. So that's a whole nother story that goes with our software, right? So I would take the time to brand myself with print. So notepads, postcards, brochures, and nobody did those things back then. I would do, just like today, through Maxa software, I have my printed listing presentation. Back then, I would spend a lot of money to do listing presentations, and I'd actually drop them off at houses, put them in mail. I went after for sale by owners, expireds. The point I'm trying to make is what you just said. Like, what feeling did I leave those people with? Because they didn't know me, right? So socially, they go, wow, this guy's different. He's doing things that nobody else does. If I was going to sell my house, I'd probably use him because he's a marketing guy, you know,
Right.
and he really has it going on. And then I would do, I would use the printing and the advertising to share my success. So if I sold one house, I would make such a huge deal out of it that it would look like I was like the real estate god, right? But also just my normal stuff. Like if I was to hand you a business card, it would always be different size, you know, and I was really into branding and marketing. So I built this brand for myself. And then especially in 96, when I launched Team Bjorkman, I built this brand that, like, not to sound like a jerk, but if you were to ask anybody in town, have you heard of Team Bjorkman? They're going to say yes, you know, unless they just moved here or something, because we spent millions of dollars over the years branding. And if I looked back, I could honestly say that a lot of the business I got was because I had a very a popular brand that stood out, but it was very consistent at the same time. So if you saw my name on a grocery cart, whether it's a postcard or a business card or a flyer, you knew it was Team Bjorkman. You just knew it because we'd be consistent. We put so much out there. So I also think when people like expired listings and for sale by owners, they said, well, if I'm going to spend the money or make a change, I'm going to do it with something impactful. So I believe because of my branding, a lot of times before I even got to the house, I'd actually have the listing because I instilled a lot of trust through my branding. Right. So one thing before we go off on another tangent is today our market's shifting. Whether people believe it or not, they have to understand that we are, and here's a script I use with people when they say, how's the market? I say, you know, the market's doing really fantastic. However, we're teetering on a shift. So what that does is it makes people think, what's teetering, right? Because teetering, you could fall either way. And I truly believe, regardless of political beliefs or whatever, we're at a cyclical cycle, right? So if a house is harder to sell now, we have to do things again that other agents can't or won't. So let's say a year or two ago, I could go to your house, James, and put your house on the market, high five you, say some nice things, compliment your lovely home and your wife, and get the listing. Now people are like, wait a minute, if I'm going to spend X percent of my money having you sell my home, what are you going to do to get that home sold? So if I can't sell myself first, how am I supposed to be able to market your home if I can't market myself? So presentation today for the agents watching is more important than ever. You need to go in there with beautiful marketing, beautiful listing presentation, beautiful everything to impress them, because they're going to be wondering, what is this clown going to do to sell my home? How is the representation of what he's currently showing me going to eventually affect the sale of my home? How are they going to bring the beautiful attributes of my home out to the public, right? So this is where your software comes in. If I would have had Maxa back in the 90s, I would have been long gone, retired, because I would have utilized it. So if you guys don't really understand, Maxa's got everything from social media to listing presentations, to buyer presentations, to brochures, all the stuff that the most high-end luxury agents use that paid, you know, tens of thousands of dollars for a few years ago. It's at your fingertips, editable within seconds. It's just beautiful. But what I love, it's consistent, it's shareable, changeable, editable, and it sits in a library for you. So your brand will be forever, you know, the way you want it until you decide to change it. So
yeah, something just to add in is, you know, branding to me is an extraordinary commitment to building a remarkable reputation about yourself. Like that to me is like, it's like Mike, you're an example of that. It's like you were so committed to creating that remarkable reputation in your farm, in your community. And then marketing is an extraordinary commitment to promoting that reputation and value. And smart marketing does it where it's like it's campaigned, there's channels for it, there's a channel to market your brand. You know, back in the day when agents used to ask me, hey, will you do my marketing? I'd be like, I can't do your marketing without a brand, because you need your brand, which is your values, your reputation, your everything that you can offer your clients first, built in a visual presentation so that they can feel like it's different than other companies or clients, or sorry, agents, and then you can then market it. So with Maxa, the whole idea was like agents are becoming more and more self-sufficient, and we're thinking of like we're business owners more and more. So the goal was, can we give you a tool to first, once you build that brand, to now empower the marketing behind the brand, all on a controllable platform where you can do all your social, all your farming and print, your flyers, your listing presentations, and do your email marketing from a platform that designed everything for you. Because we know agents aren't designers, creatives, they're not even always marketers. So everything you guys are doing, you'd have to hire out anyways to really create something amazing. You can now do it on our platform and software. But at the same time, the goal is to empower you to push your brand through your community. And I think that is where it got really interesting, because I see you, Mike, you use Max all the time to create your social feeds, your brands, all the success, because the success is your story. That's what we want to do, is build a brand of success. Right. But we want the stuff to look good. And our platform gives you the stuff that makes you look good.
Yeah. Another thought that just came into my head, back in the 90s, Don Hobbs created Hobbs and Herder. That was a branding company.
Yeah.
So he recently came to EXP also. And, talking to him at conventions and stuff, I'd always say, dude, I spent so much money with you, but it made such a difference, because there was only a couple agents at the time that could afford to brand themselves properly. Let's get a very consistent logo. Let's choose a color palette, and then let's use that. And then they would do everything: the flyers, the postcards, the presentation, the brochures, the business cards, and it was a package. And if I remember, it was 10 grand back in the day. Yep. That was like 50 grand back then, right? But every agent that bought it launched to the top. Like, I was blown away, because I used to go to every single seminar, conference, and I could tell who had that, and then everybody started trying to copy it. But now it's like crazy. Like, some of you people watching, I see we have like 15 people watching live right now. Go to teambjorkman.com, click on sell, and then marketing strategy. And you'll see the beautiful branding that Maxa created for me for my listing presentation. Because now I do most of my listing presentations over Zoom, just like this. I go, James, there's two things you need to decide. Number one, do we get along? Do we vibe together? Do you feel like we could work together for the next several months? And number two, let's talk about some marketing, right? Price we'll get into later. Can you go to zoomwithmikeb.com? And I will show them my listing presentation. I'll say, listen, based on what I just showed you, do you think we're a good fit personality-wise and marketing-wise? And then if they want to see more marketing, we'll take them through more marketing, because we have all that stuff saved on Drive. Here's what your flyers will look like. Here's what your postcards will look like. Here's what all this stuff is going to look like. And they're blown away, because nobody else has showed them a very consistent brand. But what sucks is, for other agents that are not using Maxa, it's kind of a cheat. Like, it's already done for you. Like, boom, done. It's just, yes, I paid your staff a little bit extra to do some graphic design work for me, but that was cool. Like, it's all together. Now it's a consistent brand. So we can do things, again, that other agents can't or won't within seconds. Like, we could launch a media campaign within seconds of a house. And what I love, and again, for any agent on my EXP team, I pay for their Maxa platform for them, so they have access to it. Now, what's so nice about that is, let's be honest, some people aren't as smart as the others when it comes to tech. I just simply give them a login, invite them to the team, give them a login, and the videos for the training are so perfect, like anybody can figure it out. right? So if they want to print postcards or a brochure from there, cool. If they want to download it, send it to the printer, all the corners are there ready for print, all that stuff. But let's be honest, a lot of that stuff will never go to print. It's all for my digital marketing, my email campaigns, my social media, my videos, all that stuff is encompassed in there. So I'm like, agents, if you don't understand how important your brand is, how are you ever going to buy enough brain cells to have somebody remember you? Right? I mean, they have to remember you for your vibe, your presence, your reputation, because perception's everything, right?
Your headshots, your writing style,
all that, man.
all those things come together. And then it is, I would say, a big multi-channel kind of thing to do. You've got to think about your brand in so many areas. But the thing is, I would say that the most important piece is your story. And we always talk about the story of your brand, but I feel like people don't realize that everything you do builds on your story. So I have a coach, and she was telling me I need to set up my own 8x8. You know what an 8x8 is, right? So, and in my head, an 8x8 is like my first automated system when I first meet someone or it's a new lead, and I'm going to take them through an email series or text series to introduce myself. But for her, it was so much more than that. She was saying, like, dude, your 8x8 is it's that 8 touches to tell your story. And it got me really excited because she made such a significance about it, that it's not just your story is your brand. And we want to know like what are you all about? Like, I should know this person and feel like I'm his or her friend by the end of this 8 series of touches. And so I started thinking, like, okay, the first part maybe is like, I should tell my story. Like, if you've seen her, I should tell the story of how I got involved in real estate marketing and branding. The second part is like, well, they should meet my team because I got a staff of 20 people. They should know a little bit about these guys. And that's part 2 of the story. Part 3 is like, well, what have we learned from 3 of the biggest clients we've worked with, from like the United Nations to Facebook? Like, what are we learning from them? That's part of our story. And the goal is each piece of the story builds the brand. And so Mike he's in real estate, he's investing, he's a coach, he's building, he's interested in helping people build wealth. There's all these pieces, aspects to your story. As a realtor, or as a team or a couple or a married couple and realtors, I just think it's so fun when everyone creates their story so that they can resonate. It's like, and you start to find people that really work. So I did a branding project like a few years ago for a company called L34. L34 is a company called, it's L34 Real Estate because they are the latitude of Los Angeles. L34 is the actual latitude in LA. And they've always been a successful team, but they never really dominated. And I noticed, here's a mailer that I found actually that they wrote themselves about a listing. And this is what they wrote in their mailer to their farm. They said, "This property is not a home, house, dwell, abode, or pad. This is a sanctuary, a place or space where people gather around the cozy fireplace in the winter, some stealing first kisses, sumptuous meals prepared with love in the ample kitchen, wishes buried under the grand oak in the back." And it just keeps going.
Gosh, that's beautiful.
It's so good. It's like amazing. I showed you their headshot. I know this is mostly a podcast, but I'll share real quick what their headshot looked like at that time. It's changed now, but this is just a very cool couple. They're very LA, modern, but mature and friendly. And what I like about seeing this team is each mailer was part of their story because they wrote about it differently. And what ended up happening is they dominated East Side LA like crazy, like 20 properties a month in just one little neighborhood of LA. It's been amazing to watch their growth. But I think what they did really well was create a story and stand behind it. And, I think about all the top producers. Yeah. And I think every top producer. Go ahead.
I have to go back to this 8x8 because obviously you have a very good coach. I don't know if we should talk about her on TV on live, but whatever. I mean, everybody has a coach, but what that reminded me of was the Closing Table. Like, we're part of the Closing Table Mastermind. Closing Table Mastermind is also owned by the owners of Digital Marketer, right? So we have Perry Belcher and well, I want to talk about Perry mostly because owners of Digital Marketer, right? He's like he taught the class, the 8x8 class, and I went through that, right? And you are right, branding is telling a story, and people don't really know how, it's just a guideline of how to create your brand, right? So as I thought about it, and as I did my 8x8, I think it was like last November or something like that, we did use that. And Roland Frazier and Ryan Dice, obviously you guys probably know those names. And we went to some small intensive where they were actually teaching that. So if you guys aren't familiar with War Room, it's the top info marketers in the world. Some of the most wealthy, powerful info marketers that sell from stage, webinar, print, books, all that stuff. So as we design that, you're right, we have to tell our story, but all these pieces of marketing get very expensive. And actually the only piece that's not part of the 8x8 is an actual book, like being a publisher that we can't do in Maxa. I'm sure we could, but it would be a little difficult. But all the pieces are there to do that. Now, only the top info marketers and digital marketers in the world even know what that is, right? And I'm pretty good info marketer and digital marketer, and I can't even explain all 8 things. I mean, I'm sure we could dig it up, but you're right. It is text, email, retargeting, print, and whatever else there is. But all those things Maxa does. That's when you said 8x8, it just hit me. I said, yes, everything you need to do to create and this is, I mean, I see people watching that aren't even realtors and but they are self-employed, they're business owners. This is exactly what we all need as self-employed or entrepreneurs to leave that long-lasting impression on our potential clients, our existing clients, and our past clients. And to be so lucky today to have it for free with my team, or so inexpensive as a real estate agent to work with such powerful software that could be, I mean, you've done it perfectly. You could do anything. It just means a lot for somebody who's been in the business 28 years, like I have, to say, look, you guys watching don't have a freaking clue how lucky you are. And then of course I get passionate and say, there's only 2 reasons you're not doing it. Number 1, you're ignorant because you haven't learned about Maxa yet. And number 2, you're just stupid and lazy, because if you want to end up in this business for a long time, you need to do these types of things. And so if I think back on how I took my property management company, SCV Leasing, to California Leasing, we dominated the market for years. And then one day I woke up and said, I have to make sure everybody knows about this company again. And my heart sunk. I was like, are you kidding me? But I just went through all the stages, all the things I learned about branding. Within 6 months, we're still the #1 property management company, completely dominating. I mean, if you compare how many homes on the market we have compared to anybody else in town, it's 10 times more, and it's consistent and never stops. And it's because of the branding. And it's because a lot of the stuff we do is with your software. Deanna from Start Social that works for me, that does all of our marketing, she uses Maxa like crazy. She loves it. And she's providing all this marketing. And that's just one example of one of my companies for property management. But when I went to brand when I left KW and I bought a HomeSmart franchise, I had to brand the hell out of HomeSmart. And everybody within days was saying how awesome it was that I created this brand. But I didn't, people just didn't know. But I branded Team Bjorkman with HomeSmart. So within less than a year, we're recognized as much as Remax, who'd been out here 30 years, right? Then when I went to EXP, that's another rebranding, right? So then you helped me with that rebrand, and now we're back to just a normal household name, and people forgot that I ever worked at that company because we worked so hard on this new company that's just all they remember. That's all they know. Even though I've been at Remax, I used the balloon for 19 years and KW for 5, at my own brokerage for 5, built that to 300 agents, and then sold it all for what we're doing now. And none of that would have been successful if I didn't have the tools to rebrand. But this time with you guys, it was that much easier. And we have so much more at our fingertips. And I'm sitting here in the back of my mind, because I have ADD, going, Mike, there's so much more in Maxa that you're not using. As soon as we hang up, we need to call Deanna and get some more stuff going. So tell us briefly, explain to the people listening, because I mean, we went through the theory of branding enough now. I think we beat that over the head. Tell us what the software is, what it does, and just your version of, and tell me about the success you've seen of some agents that have been using it besides me.
Yeah, I would say Maxa is a 360 marketing design platform for to where we host an incredible marketing suite for print, social, and email for agents to customize and publish extraordinary marketing materials. And really, the idea is we're kind of like Canva.com on steroids. So Canva has the same mission as us, which is to empower design, branding, marketing. They're really just interested in empowering people. And what we did was like, we said, yeah, we want to empower people to create their own brand and marketing, but not everything. We just want to do it really well for real estate and for lenders. And just because that's been my whole life. And I know there's things that Canva's not creating, like listing presentations, home buyer guides, offering memorandums, very unique postcards and mailers. We're doing 98% of the work. It looks super sexy and good. And then agents go in, it auto-populates their headshot, their DRE number if they're in California, their colors, their branding. And then all they have to do is tweak it, customize it, and it's ready to be farmed from the platform or downloaded for print, exported to MailChimp or Constant Contact if you use it. And what's really interesting is I did a webinar just last week, and a bunch of users came on board because we've got like thousands of people now. And they came up when I asked, like, what would you say is the best thing about the platform? And they said, we're not really the best at marketing, but this platform makes me feel like I'm good at it. And I think it's because it's super simple. It's you go on, you design something, you publish it on social, Instagram, Facebook, you make a mailer. It's all available to you. You can create your own business cards, your own sign, your own email signatures. And the whole idea is like to start to build some consistency and professionalism with the platform. And really what ends up happening is you build a brand. So what we do is we try to really nail the visual side. All our stuff, there's over 500 templates in the platform that make you look sexy and awesome. And then your job is to consistently publish content so that the creepers who are watching you and seeing if you're the right person to sell or buy their home, they choose you, or whatever reason, whatever you're selling. And then I would say it's a platform for you to tell your story. So every time you close a house, whether you closed it in 14 or 30 days, that's a big success. Each time you give keys to your clients, that's a big success. Every time you flip a house, every time you fund a loan, those are all moments to be telling the story. And what we don't tell that story very often because it's not easy to tell a story. What are you going to do? Just go on Facebook and do like a text update. Hey guys, I just closed the deal in 14 days. It's okay, but what I think our platform tries to do is empower them with good design. So they can go in, have a picture of their client, be able to add their logo and say, hey, congrats to our clients for selling their home and it took us 20 days. It sold over asking, and we're really happy for them. And that starts to build that brand through the platform. And of course, you guys own all that. Everything you publish, it's like part of your brand. You'll have to see it and see how the editor works and all that fun stuff.
Well, let's talk about that real quick. So if you guys go to my YouTube channel, Mike Bjorkman Training, there's actually a demo that James and I did a couple months back. If you just type in Maxa on my YouTube channel, it'll pull up. It's pretty interesting because you can see how we built my listing presentation out, and you can see a lot of the stuff. And also, I mean, obviously, if you're listening to this, you should join Maxa. Well, let's talk about that real quick. Get it anyways. So click mute tab. But anyways, guys, seriously, it's look at the demo, watch it, look at some of the stuff we've created. All right, so let's kind of wrap this up. I know we went way over, and that's cool because it's such an awesome platform. But let's talk about how does a real estate agent get it, and how much is it, and can teams use it?
Yeah, so we can go over, if you go to exp.maxadesigns.pricing/pricing, we'll put it on the link. That's for everyone that's on with Mike and Mike's, who's in the EXP network. You can sign up over there.
Don't forget, if you're on my EXP team, I pay for it for you. Yeah. So if you're an EXP agent not on our team or any other company, listen up, because we're going to show you how to get it.
Yeah. And if you just go to maxadesigns.com, you'll learn about it there. You can opt in and see how the whole system works. You'll probably end up talking to me later and we can talk about getting you guys access. And then if you guys don't know, there's also the Lab Code Agents platform too, which is really awesome. So you've got, if you go to lcamarketingcenter.com, we'll put that as a link. That's an amazing platform that we created with Tristan and Nick, and it has an incredible suite. We power that platform with a bunch of amazing designs. It's all really inside. The influence of Lab Code Agents is all over it. And when you see it, the designs are sexy. It's super cool. There's over 500 templates in there as well. I would definitely check out lcamarketingcenter.com. That's a great place to go into.
Is that less expensive than buying it directly off the website? Or is it the same price?
It's the same price.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because there's some really cool stuff on there. I mean, I have access to all these things, and you can't go through so many templates. It takes you forever. So I guess the bottom line is let's wrap this up. And let's just say, look, if you're serious about staying in the business, you have to have this. If you think Canva is all you need and overly and all this stuff, no, it's not. You need this stuff. Even if I bought it and never used it, the ideas that I got off the templates would be worth it. That's how crazy it is. So when you're sitting there going, hey, I have an open house Sunday, but I want to do some more promotion, not only for that, but there's also guides in there, like, what would you call them? Like kind of infographics for people about buy versus rent, and just all kinds of cool stuff in there that it takes seconds to change. And now I tell everybody, every single day you got to work on your marketing. And people say, I don't know what to post. I'm like, okay, so don't just go steal something off Instagram. Make something cool and custom your own, and that way create your brand. And it's like, it's so easy and so simple. I don't know why people don't do it more. And again, I'm kicking myself under the bar here right now going, you need to do more, but if you're not selling hundreds of homes a year, you have time, and if you are selling hundreds of homes a year like us, you have a marketing department, you have an admin, and you say, well, my admin or my TC is not good at graphic design. That's what I want you to say, because that takes all this out of it for you. All you have to do is change your phone number, or change the address or change the price. That's how simple it is. And it's all the classiest, smoothest, cleanest stuff. I love EXP with our free breakthrough broker. It's gorgeous. There's tons and tons of stuff, but it's still not as much as Maxa. And it's still a different theme and a different vibe. And it's just got that hip, new, super cool vibe. And, I applaud you for how clean and nice everything looks. It's just everything we need in this generation of marketing to really stand out. Hey, buddy, take us home. Anything else we need to know?
No, I think that's really good. The idea is we should be very, very active. Everyone knows we should be active on social, and we should be doing a monthly email newsletter. And if we have the budget, we should be doing a monthly mailer. Like, there's things we all know we need to do, and the goal is, can we empower you guys to do it more and more? And so when you came up with the idea of the open house coming up, I would be, if I have an open house I'm doing on Sunday, I would be blasting an invitation to open house. I would have an open house branded sign up sheet at the open house. I would have a Facebook Live of when I meet people at the open house, just to introduce them and just to kind of be fun and show that I'm active and we're doing a lot of real estate. We're having a lot of fun in real estate. The goal is find ways to use tools like Maxa or Facebook and Instagram to show off all the things that's going on, and all those things you're showing off and you're publishing. Those moments are what tell your story, which is what builds your brand. And I think it kind of all comes together like that. And the media creates the brand, but you got to know what your brand is by spending some time on it. A few easy resource, if you go to maxadesigns.com/real estate, real-estate, we'll put that link up too. There's a guide. It's like a 10-step guide on how to build your brand. You guys can check that out as well. It's really easy to learn the steps that we kind of go through inside of building a brand, a real estate brand. We've probably done over 300 real estate brands and brokerages now. And so we have an idea of what it looks like to create a really strong, powerful brand. And so check that out. We'll put that in the link as well.
Super cool. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up with one story that I have to. I know I said 3 times I'm going to wrap this up now, but hey, guess what? It's my podcast. What's up? But I'm trying to help agents. I love and care about each one of you individually. I've seen a ton of my actual coaching clients on this watching, and you know what I'm going to do next time I talk to you. But here's something that happened a couple of weeks ago. A very near and dear friend of mine that you actually know. His wife's in real estate, and she says, Mike, will you talk to me? You know, my husband's a really awesome realtor, but here's my problem. I am very active in the community with sports and charity and all this stuff. And I know you kind of know how to use the community to help engage with real estate, but everybody is just saying, Mike, look, here's what I'm looked at as a housewife that dabbles in real estate. And I said, cool, that's awesome. And here's why. Most of your following's on social media, so let's change that around. Get your Maxa out and actually start showing how your office has X amount of agents and how you're doing X amount of sales, and start using these tools to show them, because we need balance on social media, right? Know, like, and trust. They already know you. They already love you. They don't just like you, they love you. But now they got to trust you as a realtor. So start using these tools to show them that you have an active business, that you are selling a lot of homes, and that you are a force to be reckoned with in the real estate industry. And right away, it starts working. Right away. You know what I mean? So, all right, I'll finish that up with that little story. I love you guys. Thank you for listening to realestatemarketingshow.com podcast. If you did catch that open house things that we just said, there is 2 versions, open house part 1 and 2 training somewhere back a year ago, whatever. It's hard to do this when you're like podcasting and live, right? Like, no, I say, thank you, and make sure you rate us 5 stars, blah, blah, blah. All right, guys. James, thank you so much. I know you're busy with your brand new baby. Congratulations again. And we'll see you really soon. You guys reach out to Maxa. That's James Wong, one of the most studliest dudes you could ever meet, biggest hearts, all that good stuff. And just reach out to me if you need more from me, and I can give you lots of tips, tricks, and things that we've done with Maxa. Oh, yeah. All right, guys. Have a beautiful day.